Now, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out before you hit that dislike button and comment on how I am wrong before I even get the chance to speak. Okay, so I'm Jonny with Baka to Basics, and you're wondering how I got this crazy idea that Exarm is beautiful. Because I think I found something that makes it stand out in a unique way that is overlooked or is looked at in the wrong way. Spoiler warning, if you even care. Before I get into what makes the show beautiful, I'll go over what I think makes it bad, and others may agree that what is even worse than the animations is the edit. People notice a bad edit, or ones that are off. If you need an example, go back and watch the demographics series where Summers talks about different demographics in anime. Because there is one edit there that I spent one day on. It stands out because of its lesser quality edit. For reference, I spend about 4 to 7 days editing a video. This show is littered with bad edits and bad editing pacing. So while I agree it has its flaws, I am not here to take the easy route and bash on Exarm. No. I am here to do the unthinkable and defend this show. What makes this show beautiful, you may ask? It is the animation. Yes, stiff character models, poor lip syncing, and the thing people hate most of all is the disorienting use of 2 separate animation types in one scene. It is that last part that I want to focus on because it is a unique visual storytelling that I think we all overlooked. So put down the pitchforks for a second and let me explain. The visual storytelling that I noticed was that 2D animation equals the past, whether that was a character affected by past events or a character that is set in their old ways. 3D animation equals the future. People who are using future tech to help them live, or a person adapting with the new times. Take the first episode, for example. After the introductory scene and the opening credits, we are shown a second date of 2014. We have our main character, Akira Natsume, looking out the window, but he is looking right. Typically, when a character is in deep thought, the direction they are looking is important. When they are looking right, it means they are looking to the future because they are looking to where we are going. After all, they are looking down the timeline of the edit to the future of what is still to come. Whereas if they're looking left, they are looking to the past, to what we've already seen. He is our main character, so he'll be affected by the future events, so he is animated in a 3D art style. The 2 students in the scene and the environment are in 2D to signify that we are in the past. We also learn about Akira's hate for technology, with the students showing him a phone with a bunch of girls. Then there's a transition and Akira is talking to his brother about his hate for technology. But now Akira is looking left to the past, to the last scene that we last saw him in. His brother, however, looks to his right. He speaks of making androids, about his future goals and aspirations of the future. But why is he not 3D then, you may ask? This is because he is stuck in the past. Even though his ideas are of the future and looking right, his character himself is not physically making it to the future. His mind has grand ideas of the future, but his body will ultimately be stuck in the past, unlike Akira. Just in these 2 minutes, I can tell that somebody took the time to do some great visual storytelling, whether they meant to or not. Some people will say, well, that's the basics of storytelling and that every show does that. But this show is taking that extra step or that extra level of visuals to see who represents the past and who represents the future in each scene, which if you are paying attention and notice these little details, it is a nice way to acknowledge your audience. Let us look at another scene and apply my theory. In episode 2, Day of Judgment, we have a scene where a girl and a boy attack a robot thing. We learn about the kids being street kids with no ID or a place to call home, scavenging the streets for food with any means to survive. There has been a huge increase of these street kids since the Tokyo attack that was caused by Akira. He is the reason they are homeless and on the streets. These kids are affected by past events, so they are animated in 2D, so we can visually see that they are affected by past events. Let's look at another scene to further the point the show is making. In episode 7, we look at the character named Minimi. She just learned that her little brother Soma is still alive and was given a second chance at life through the power of android technologies. But he is working for one of the enemies. Minimi sits there looking at her trinket of a 2D picture of herself and her little brother remembering the past. The flashback is all in 2D animation. Even the characters that we see in 3D are in 2D. Because they are in the past. They grew so much since that flashback, making them a full 3D character that they are. After the tragic accident to both Soma and Minimi, they went their own separate ways. Soma trained to get revenge on the world, making him a full 3D character and moving forward with his life. Minimi went on to train and be a part of the side fighting for what they believe is the good and the righteous, fighting evil so that what happened to her doesn't happen to others. I am being extra vague with some of the wording here because I don't want to spoil everything, just in case you haven't seen it and want to. You can, and stuff will still surprise you. But as I indicated earlier, you just gotta get through some stiff animations and bad editing. Exarm is far from perfect, but the people that worked on the show did put in effort in certain areas that will surprise those that have only heard terrible things about it. So, what are your thoughts on Exarm? Did you notice the visual storytelling that they did with the animations? What show would you like me to do next? If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Only if you want to. And a like would be greatly appreciated. I've been Jonny with Baka to Basics, and I'll see you next time I'm allowed to come out of the editing cave. Be kind to one another.